Assalamu alaikum. What does it mean for God to have a throne? Is it a symbol of power, of presence, of dominion? How can something as transcendent as God be seated on anything at all? And how do we reconcile divine transcendence with Qur'anic imagery that speaks of a throne, al-ʿArsh? These questions lie at the heart of today's reflection. We will be exploring a verse that has captivated theologians, philosophers, and mystics alike. Allahu alladhi khalaqa as-samawati wal-arda wa ma baynahuma في ستة أيام ثم استوى على الأرش الرحمن فاسأل به خبيرا. It is Allah who created the heavens and the earth and whatever is between them in 6 days. Then He established Himself above the throne, the All-Merciful, so ask about Him from one who is well informed. In this episode of reflection, we will explore the Quranic meaning of God's throne and divine sovereignty, the symbolism of the Arsh in Islamic theology, philosophical concepts of ontology, authority, and metaphysical order, and the practical implications of believing in a God who governs all. The Qur'an repeatedly describes God as being above the throne, al-ʿArsh. This phrase appears in multiple verses, including ar-Rahmanu al-ʿArsh istawa, the All-Merciful established Himself upon the throne. But what does this actually mean? In Islamic theology, the throne, Arsh, is not a physical chair, nor is it a place where God resides spatially. Rather, it is a symbol, a metaphysical expression of divine dominion, knowledge, and sovereignty. It conveys that God has full authority over creation and that everything is encompassed by His will. Allāmah Ṭabāṭabāqqī writes in al-Mīzān that the Arsh represents the highest level of divine command, amr, encompassing all aspects of reality. When the Qur'an says God is established over the throne, it means that His governance, mercy, and knowledge are supreme and all-encompassing, not that He occupies a physical space. From an ontological perspective, the throne represents the divine order of existence itself. It marks the summit of creation's hierarchy, not a material level, but the metaphysical apex from which divine will descends. Pause and reflect. If God's throne symbolizes His supreme governance, then what does it mean to live under His sovereignty? Allahu alladhi khalaqa as-samawati wal-arda wa ma baynahuma fi sittati ayyam. It is Allah who created the heavens and the earth and whatever is between them in 6 days. The Qur'an tells us that creation occurred over 6 days, but these days are not 24-hour periods. According to classical exegetes like Tabari and Ṭabāṭabāqqī, they represent phases or stages, divine acts unfolding in a measured, intentional way. This reveals a crucial truth. Creation is not chaotic, it is structured, willed, and purposeful. Allāmah Ṭabāṭabāqqī emphasizes that divine creation proceeds through levels of command, maratibul al-amr. Each stage reflects wisdom, balance, and harmony. This cosmological order is itself a reflection of God's perfection, that the universe is not accidental. From teleological viewpoint, it was made in a way that reflects intentionality and destination. Every part of creation, from galaxies to atoms, fits into a grand scheme. Consider this. If God created the universe in stages, with order and wisdom, what does that tell us about the purpose behind your own existence? ثُمَّ اسْتَوَى عَلَى الْأَرْشِ. Then He established Himself above the throne. The Arabic word istiwa has several meanings: to rise, to establish, to level, to take command. In this context, it refers to God's full assumption of governance over creation after its completion. Allāmah Ṭabāṭabāqqī argues that istiwa symbolizes comprehensive dominion, where every law of nature, every event in history, and every action of human beings unfolds under God's sovereign will. This verse thus expresses the epistemological limit of human understanding. We know God governs, but the nature of that governance transcends our grasp. His throne is not of this world, it encompasses it. His sovereignty is not political, it is metaphysical. The Qur'an even says, فَاسْأَلْ بِهِ خَبِيرًا. So ask about Him from one who is well informed. Allāmah Ṭabāṭabāqqī notes that the one who is well informed here refers to the Prophet, whose knowledge of divine realities was unmatched. To know the true meaning of divine sovereignty, one must turn to the infallible. Pause and reflect. What does it mean to trust in the rule of a king we cannot see, but who governs every atom of our being. Ar-Rahmanu fas'al bihi khabira, the All-Merciful, so ask about him from one who is well informed. Notice the unexpected transition in the verse. After describing God's power and dominion, the name used is Al-Rahman, the All-Merciful. This choice is not arbitrary. In Quranic logic, God's sovereignty is not separate from His mercy. He does not govern through tyranny or cold detachment. His throne is not a symbol of domination, but of compassionate authority. In al-Mizan, Allāmah Ṭabāṭabāʻī writes that the linkage between Arsh and Rahman is essential. It teaches us that the highest form of governance is one that emanates from mercy, not from force. From a moral philosophical lens, this has profound implications. If God governs with mercy, then so should His representatives. Leadership in Islam is not about domination. It is about responsibility, justice, and care. Consider this. What kind of leader rules from a place of mercy, not power? And if God governs us with mercy, how should we govern ourselves? وَكَانَ عَرْشُهُ عَلَى الْمَاءِ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. And His throne was upon water, that He might test you. According to al-Mizan, this verse indicates that creation emerges from a hidden source, from a treasury of divine knowledge and command. The throne is a gateway between the unseen and seen, a metaphysical threshold where the divine order begins to manifest in creation. This gateway is not spatial, it is ontological. It is the origin point from which reality unfolds, where divine wisdom shapes the material world. In other words, ontology, the nature of being, begins with the Arsh. Everything we see originates from that unseen level of divine order. Pause and reflect. If all things flow from the unseen throne, then how conscious are we of the source from which we came? Fas'al bihi khabira. So ask about him from one who is well informed. The Qur'an tells us to turn to someone deeply informed about God, someone who understands the Arsh, divine mercy and governance. Who fits this description? According to the Shi'i traditions, this verse implicitly refers to the Prophet and by extension to the Imams alayhimussalam who inherited his knowledge and authority. Allāmah Hussein Ṭabāṭabāʻī affirms the divine realities such as the throne are not open to everyone's speculation. They must be taught by those whose hearts are illuminated and who are appointed by God. From an epistemological point of view, this emphasizes authoritative sources of knowledge in Islam. Divine truth are not up for debate. They must be received through the proper chain. Consider this. To whom do we turn to understand divine power and justice? Speculators or those vested with light and guidance? What does it mean to believe that God is on the throne? It means that everything is under divine watch. Every injustice, every hidden tear, every intention is seen and known. The belief creates accountability. If God is sovereign, then human power is limited and morally bound. Tyranny becomes not just a political failure, but a spiritual rebellion. In al-Mizan, Allāmah Ṭabāṭabāʻī links the concept of throne to cosmic justice. Nothing escapes the divine plan. While human beings may appear to defy God, the arc of creation bends towards His will. Philosophically, this aligns with a moral metaphysics. Justice is not relative. It is grounded in the order of the cosmos, a throne governed by mercy, not by might. Pause and reflect. If we truly believe in divine sovereignty, how would our politics, relationship, and self-accounting change? Let's now distill the key insights from this episode. The throne is not a place, but a reality. It symbolizes divine sovereignty, mercy, and knowledge that governs all creation. Ontology and governance meet in the Arsh. God's being and authority are intertwined. The throne is a sign of both His existence and His command. Creation is purposeful. The 6 stages of creation reflect wisdom and intent, not chaos or randomness. Epistemological humility is key. To know God's sovereignty, we must turn to those God has authorized, Prophet and the Imams. Divine rule is a moral call. Belief in the throne should lead to inner reform, ethical action, and surrender to divine will. In the next episode of Reflection, we explore one of the most powerful declarations in the Qur'an, a verse verse that marks the perfection of a religion and the completion of divine grace. We will explore to understand what does it mean for a religion to be complete? How is divine grace connected to divinely appointed leadership? And why was this verse revealed immediately after the Prophet announced the wilayah of Imam Ali alayhi salam? So join me for episode 14, the verse of completion, religion, grace, and divine appointment. If you enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing, hit the notification bell, and share your comments below. Until next week, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.